first time since his suspension, Draymond Green speaking out. Green is supposed to return to the court tomorrow night after serving a 5-game suspension for his part in a scuffle with Rudy Gobert and the Timberwolves. But don't expect Dre to have regrets.
I don't live my life with regrets. Like I said before, I'll come to a teammate's defense anytime that I'm in a position to come to a teammate's defense. That's what a team is. You stick together through the good and the bad. And I take that to heart. What matters to me is how the people that I care about feel. First and foremost, how are the people that I care about affected? How are the people that I care about, what do they have to deal with? I think that's it for me. You know, to continue mentioning like, oh, well, what he did in the past, I've paid for those. You know, like I got suspended in Game 5 of the finals. So you can't keep suspending me for those actions.
Okay, I want to start with you, Shannon. Are you buying it?
No, Draymond, you're a repeat offender. If you're in the real world, you commit a crime, they look back and says, okay, what's his history? What's his prior? You got priors. We see guys with technical fouls and flagrant fouls. Draymond, I mean, really? You don't understand that? Yeah. Now, the only problem, and I understand why Draymond, but it also tells me why they won, Stephen A., because they got each other's back. He's that enforcer. Yes. The problem that I got, if I'm Rudy Gobert, I'm going to fight Cat, and I'm going to fight Anthony Edwards when I get back to the locker room. Because ain't nobody grabbed him. Ain't nobody grabbed. Draymond got Rudy in a chokehold. Cat standing right there. Draymond had just punked Anthony Edwards earlier in the game. Said you not about this life. This your opportunity.
Well, I wouldn't say he punked him, though.
Man,
not Anthony Edwards. I wouldn't go that far.
All I know, he ain't do nothing. Now, man, I tell you what.
Well, Anthony Edwards just went out and balled. I mean, he was like this. He said, I ain't worried about you, and went out and balled now.
No. At that point in time, it's bigger than ball. You ain't finna grab.
I'm talking about early in this game. That's what.
Stephen A., you see what Draymond did when they grabbed Clay? What'd he do? Right. Draymond come. Look, what did they do to Rudy Gobert? That explains why Minnesota don't win. Right. That's why Jimmy Butler said, I got to get the hell up out of here.
That's why Patrick Beverly called him.
You got to defend your guys, Stephen A. It is an absolute must. Right. In order for me to know that y'all got my back when we go anywhere, in that situation, you got to come to my defense. Draymond, let it go, though.
Well, let me say this to you. I'd want Draymond Green as my teammate any day of the week and twice on Sunday. The brother's a champion. He's a winner. And by the way, he's a hell of a brother. He's a good brother.
Yes.
Let me say this to you, though. But what you said to start the conversation is a fact. You are a repeat offender.
Yeah.
And when he said, you can't keep suspending me for stuff that I did in the past, yes, they can.
They can.
And not only, yes, they can.
And they're going to add games to it.
They have, and they will.
Correct.
And what Draymond and RC, and that is the NBA, and let me tell you what the deal is. Joe Dumars is the vice president of basketball operations for the NBA. Joe Dumars has a personal relationship with Draymond Green. He loves Draymond. Draymond loves him. Draymond receives counsel and advice from Joe Dumars. And Joe Dumars is the one who suspended him.
Yeah.
And let him know your past actions and past transgressions contributed to the penalty I'm handing down to you. So, factually, you are wrong when you say they can't, because they have, they did, and they will continue to do so. And then when you say, well, what matters to me most are the people that I care about and the people that I go to war with every day, figuratively speaking, of course. Well, one of those people is the coach Steve Kerr, who came out publicly and said, you were wrong, and you were excessive, and Draymond has to learn.
Right.
And so what concerns me is that in an effort of defiance, because he's incredibly prideful, because he knows he's a good brother, and he knows he's a good teammate, and he knows he's got a lot of great qualities about him. That pride seeps in where you're foggy about your level of culpability. Right. When you say you paid for the fine, for the suspension in Game 5, I will remind you, Draymond Green is on record, RC, saying that suspension cost them a championship. Right. Because they went up 3-1 on Cleveland, in Cleveland, and went back to the Oracle. And if he plays in that game, LeBron and Cleveland don't come back from a 3-1 deficit. They lose that finals. So again, you can't sit up there and say, well, you know what, you don't have any regrets, because I'm sure you have a regret about not winning a championship. Yeah. By the way, one he might have been MVP in.
Yep. You know what? I wish we could have split this clip, though, right? Because this clip as a whole has me on opposite sides of myself, because I agree with Draymond 100%, and I think me and Shannon feel the same way, because it's a part of that football thing. If Ike Taylor was in the fight in the game, I'm fighting. If you look at Troy the wrong way, I'm running. Like, I'm there. That's what we do. And when he says it's about what my teammates think of me or the people I love think of me, I 100% agree with that. Yeah. Because what I don't want is us watching the film or us seeing the altercation and I'm holding the lantern talking about, ooh, who fighting? Who fighting? Yeah, exactly. That's not what we do. If one of us into it, we are all into it. So on that, I agree with Draymond Green. Now, on Draymond Green saying that I can't keep getting punished for Game 5, here's the thing. They wouldn't punish you for Game 5 if you wouldn't do nothing else. If Draymond Green didn't get into another altercation, if Draymond Green didn't hit anybody else or step on anybody else, then he wouldn't be up before the review board. He wouldn't be standing in front of Joe Dumars, and they wouldn't have to take into account what his resume is. They wouldn't have to take into account what his history is. I'm going to say this. This one, if you're Draymond Green, you actually should take. I would have sat up there and said, you know what? They punished me. They gave me 5 games. It is what it is. And more than likely, if Klay Thompson or Steph Curry is in the altercation, I'm probably going to do the same thing. Wanna try to boast at what I look like. Jimmy with the heat, I'm on fire. It's NBA over here.